I can give it a name, simply share, and primarily for our question, it will be rent share. See, when 2-3 people together, if they rent a place, how do they pay? They pay as per the usage. If all of them stay for the equal time, they will have to share it equally. But suppose if somebody stays for a lesser time, somebody stays for a more time, then the share should be different according to the usage. Right? Now here, let's take up the first example to understand that, but I'll just give you the theory. The rent share ratio. See, why do we do this with partnership? Because the logic of sharing is the same. Rent share ratio has to be equal to the ratio of product of number of people or number of animals or whatever number, right, into the time. Product of number into the time. That's it. Simple idea. Now here, if you see this question, A and B rent a pasture for 10 months. A puts 100 cows for 8 months. How many can be put in for remaining 2 months if he pays half as much again as A? Now half as much again means it will be half plus 1, half as much again as A. So half plus 1, that means 3/2 times. So when I say half as much again, what it means to say is 3/2 times. So first thing is this one. First trick was this one. Okay, so it is 3/2 times. Now come back to the question. So here A is putting 100 cows for 8 months. How many can be put in for remaining 2 months if he pays half as much again as A? So what we should do is, let's say A and B, the number of cows with A is 100, number of cows with B is X. We don't know, we have to find that much. And A's cows were there for 8 months. Right, 8 months, and B's cows were there for 2 months, for the remaining 2 months only. The question is saying that first A is putting the cows for 8 months and B is putting for the remaining 2 months. All right, so if you multiply, you will get the rent ratio. What will be the rent ratio in this case? 100 into 8 will be 100 into 8 is to X into 2. Okay. Now 100 into 8 is 800, or in fact 2 cancels, so 400 is to X. This is the rent ratio. But it's also saying that if he pays, B pays half as much again as A. That means the rent share paid by B is actually equal to 3/2 times A. So from here we have A by B equal to 2/3. Alright. And A by B rent share is already 400 by X. So 400 by X. So from here we can see the X value will be 3 into 400 divided by 2. 2 cancels 400. 200 times 200 into 3 is 600. Right. So we can put 600 cows for the remaining 2 months. Okay. Now let's take up the second question. Second question is not directly related to the concept that we have just done, but it is related to share. It says when the bill was received in a restaurant by 3 people, one person paid 2/3 as much as the other person. So right, so A is equal to 2/3V. So we have A by V equal to 2/3, or we can also say that A is to V is 2:3. All right, this is one ratio. Now Veena paid half as much as Lasha paid, right? So V is to L, or V is equal to half as much as L. Alright, so from here we have V is upon L is 1/2, or V is to L is equal to 1:2. Look at this carefully. We have to combine these two ratios. So V is the common item. For V here we have 3, and for V here we have 1. So make them same. To make them same, multiply this by 3. So it becomes 3:6. This gives us A is to V is to L. The ratio will be 2:3:6. Right? So 2:3:6. Now what does this mean? The question is saying what fraction of the bill did Veena pay? V. Now V is here 3. Okay. So Veena's share will be, Veena's fraction will be the value here 3 divided by total 2 plus 3 plus 6. That's it. So it is 3 divided by 2 plus 3, 5 plus 6, 11. So Veena pays 3/11 fraction of the total bill. Okay, so this was a direct question, not directly related to the concept that we have just done. Let's take the next question that is related to that concept. The next question says E, F, G, H are 4 transport companies. They rented a parking place. E kept for 12 cars for 9 months. F kept 9 cars for 8 months. G kept 24 cars at 4 months. So in place of cows, now we have cars. So it's the same concept, right? So let's directly put it like this. E, F, G and H, the number of cars and the time duration. So for E, the number of cars is 12 cars, 9 months. All right. So I'll just write the values without the units. We already know the units. For F, it is 9 cars for 8 months. For G, it is 24 cars for 4 months. And for H, 24 cars for 6 months. So straight away, rent share ratio will be calculated as the product of number into months, number into time. So for E, it will be 12 into 9, right? Then for F, it will be 9 into 8. For G, it will be 24 into 4. And for H, it will be 24 into 6. So whatever way you like, you can simply simplify this. Okay, so I think 3 cancels all the numbers. 2 cancels all the numbers, 6 cancels all, but first let's do one thing. 12 9s is 108, 9 into 8 is 72, 24 into 4 is 96, 24 into 6 is 144. Now you can see all of them are divisible by 12. So 12 9 times 108, 12 6 times 72, 12 8 times 96 and 12 times 144. So it is 9 is to 6 is to 8 is to 12. This is the ratio of the rent share. Now H's share of the rent was 1200. Now this is E, F, G, H, right? And H's share, the actual share is 1200. Here in the ratio it is 12. So 12 is 1200, right? I think there is no need to do anything further. 12 stands for 1200. So 8 will stand for 800, 6 will stand for 600, 9 will stand for 900. Let me write this also. The 9 will be 900 rupees. Okay. This 6 will be 600 rupees. All right. This 8 will be 800 rupees. All right. So these are the shares of each one. Find the total rent of the parking. Simply add all of them. So it is the total rent of the parking will be equal to the simple sum of all of them. That is 9 plus 6, 15 plus 8, 23 plus 12. That is 3500. All right. So 3500 rupees is the total rent. Okay. So this was a good question. Now let's take up one more or couple of more questions. The fourth question, it says 4 milkmen rented a pasture. A grazed 18 cows for 4 months, B 25 cows for 2 months, C 28 cows for 5 months and D 21 cows for 3 months. I think this is again a direct question, as I hope you can see that straight away. A, B, C, D, the number of cows and the time, right? Even you don't need to prepare this chart also. Okay, you can directly use the calculation. Here, because I have to make sure that you understand it properly, I'm writing everything properly. Okay, so A grazed 18 cows for 4 months. Time is in months, and here obviously we're talking about number of cows. Okay, now for B it will be 25 cows for 2 months. For C it will be 28 cows for 5 months, and for D it will be 21 cows for 3 months. Okay, so simply multiply. So the rent share ratio will be equal to the product of number of cows and time. So it is 18 into 4 for A is to 25 into 2 for B, and for C it will be 28 into 5. For D it will be 21 into 3. So if you simplify, you will get 18 4 is 72, 25 2 is 50, 28 5 is 140 and 21 3 is 63, right? So this is the share ratio of A, B, C and D. Right now the question is saying if A's share of rent is 360, the total of the rent. Okay, from here you can see that A's share should be equal to 72 divided by addition of all of them. So if you add all of them, 72, 50, 140 and 63, simply add them. Okay, if you simply add them, you will get 3 and 2 5, 7 and 5 12 plus 4 16 and 6 22. I'll repeat, 6 plus 4 10 and 5 15 and 7 22. So 2 here and 2 and 1 3. So it is 325. 72 by 325 into the total value, whatever is the total rent, right? This should be the calculation. And A's share is already given 360. So A is given 360. So this means 360 is equal to 72 upon 325 into total rent, right? From here you can see 72 cancels 360 straight away 5 times. So the total rent value will be equal to 5 into 325. Multiply normally. 5 3s are 1500 and 25 items is 125. So it is 1625 is the total rent. Just be a little careful in the calculation here. So the question is asking the total rent of the field, that is 1625 rupees, and that will be the answer of this question. Okay, let's take one more question on this. Now this last question, it says 3 milkmen rented a pasture. A grazed 24 cows. Is a repeat of the previous question, just the numbers are different. So let's say A, B, C. I'll straight away write the rent share ratio. Right, we have already done it many times. Rent share ratio, how do we calculate? Number into time. Okay, so for A, number is 24 cows and the time is 4 months, so multiply. For B, it will be 10 cows for 6 months, so 10 into 6. And for C, it will be 56 cows for 5 months. So it is 56 into 5. Right? Just multiply that. So now 24 into 4 is 96. 10 into 6 is 60. 56 into 5 is 280. Oh, great. Don't do anything else here because the question is saying A's share is 960. So that means this 96 is 960. Right? So we can identify the other values directly. So 60 will be 600. It is simply 10 times. See, if 96 is 960, that means 60 actually will be 600 and 280 will actually be equal to 2800. Everything will become 10 times. So these are the actual shares of each person. The question is find the total rent. Simply add them. So the total rent of this particular pasture in this particular question is 960 plus 600 plus 2800. Add normally. 9 and 6 is 15. 15 and 28 is 43. So 4360 rupees is the total rent in this question, and that's the answer. All right, so this is where we have completed a sufficient number of questions and the theory part related to partnership and rent share. Remember, this is always a very easy topic. The questions on these topics will be really easy. Okay, and it's just that the presentation of the question or the statements will be longer, but the process will not be. Okay, they're fixed statements, fixed methods, right? There is nothing great about these questions. Just follow the basic procedure. No shortcuts required. Okay, now we'll take just a couple of more questions for practice in the exercise. Then we'll go ahead. All right. Thank you so much. God bless. Take care.